As my favorite podcaster would say, greetings and salutations, Internet. Welcome to a special 2015 Oscars edition of Matt and Matt at the Movies. I'm your host, Matt Parkinson, joined by someone who really, really, really loves the Oscars, Matt Jarrell.
Hello, Internet.
What I said may or may not be true.
Of course it is. Shut up.
So today on the show, we're going to be discussing and deliberating the 87th Academy Awards. We'll begin talking about this year's nominations in general, followed by a breakdown of the year's major categories, and we'll conclude with our official predictions for this year's Oscars. If you're in some sort of pool where there's betting, you may want to listen to us. We kind of know stuff. Just a little bit.
A little bit? We know a lot. What are you talking about?
I'm downplaying it. We're being humble here.
Forget humility. We're awesome.
You're right. We're great. We're probably going to get about 90% of these right.
Yay.
So I guess I'll begin by asking you, what are your general thoughts on this year's nominees?
There are a lot of good ones, I think, but there's also some very obvious misses. And from just the top to the bottom, that trend really holds, in my opinion.
So basically, it's strong, but with some glaring omissions.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of that is bolstered by the fact that this was just a really strong year in film, so we've got a lot of good choices to pick from. I mean, part of the reason why, like, for instance, the Best Actor race is so interesting is because there were so many solid choices to pick from that it makes some of the omissions rather glaring.
Such as David Oyelowo.
Just a bit.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yep. Ralph Fiennes.
Ralph Fiennes. That's probably the main three that should have been in Best Actor, or could have been in Best Actor.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Steve Carell's in there as a leading actor, even though he wasn't. Bradley Cooper's in there, even though American Sniper was nowhere near the quality of the other movies.
Yep.
Well, Foxcatcher's there too, I guess. So
Same problem, really.
same problem. And you could have had David Oyelowo, Jake Gyllenhaal, Ralph Fiennes in there. I mean, even over Benedict Cumberbatch, potentially.
I would argue so, but that's just me.
But what it's going to come down to is essentially a two-person race.
Thankfully, yes. But we will get into that later.
Yes. Best Actress. I don't have a problem with any of the nominations here.
Neither do I. I'm perfectly content with all 5 of these choices. Especially seeing Marion Cotillard get in there was a pleasant surprise to me.
Well, I know that the thinking going in would have been Jennifer Aniston from Cake.
A lot of people were talking about that, but I don't entirely know why that is. I guess it's because she's a comedic actress playing a dramatic role, and so they tend to reward those sorts of things, and then especially for a female actor doing that.
Well, and she didn't wear makeup except to make her look like she was scarred, and she was bitter and hateful for the entire movie, which, I mean, for me, makes her an endearing character, but I can understand that not being the consensus.
Yeah, so all in all, Best Actress is a really good race, I think.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with that. I mean, it's a foregone conclusion he's going to win, but, you know, whatever. I know we both have a problem with the Best Supporting Actor.
Could you possibly be referring to Robert Duvall?
I'm referring a little bit to Robert Duvall. He, of course, from The Judge, which was not a good movie.
No, it wasn't.
Duvall was fine, but nothing outstanding, I don't think.
No, if you were going to do anything here, you move Steve Carell from lead actor and put him in supporting.
Kick out Duvall.
Exactly.
I feel like this is not a pity nomination, but kind of we don't know if you're ever going to do another role with as much screen time as this, so here, have a nomination.
Possibly. I don't know. It's unfortunate either way.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if Mark Ruffalo really deserves to be in there.
I would say he does, because he's, I think, the anchor to the film, particularly because his kind of quiet, reserved nature balances out the edginess, if you will, of Carell and Channing Tatum to a point.
He's good in it. I'm not saying he isn't. I just there could be others.
I think he's better than Channing Tatum in Foxcatcher.
Well, but Channing Tatum would be in the lead.
Yeah.
I don't think you could have him in supporting. Although, then again, doesn't matter apparently.
Yeah, you can shift around these things rather easily. Like, I mean, the one I automatically flash back to is Haley Steinfeld from True Grit. It's like she's technically the lead, and yet she got shunted into supporting in that year. So, yeah, you can play roulette with the the nominations however you like. So
best supporting actress.
There's only one glaring one here that stands out to me as being, why on earth are you here?
And it's because she gets an obligatory nomination every year, isn't it?
Of course it is.
Hi, Meryl Streep.
I refuse to call her Meryl Streep for this. She is, for this particular podcast, going to be forever known as the Queen of Ham.
Until, of course, she does something not hammy.
Exactly.
Yeah, I wouldn't have nominated her for this, but it's Meryl Streep, so she gets a nomination.
Yep. All you need to do is basically have the Queen of Ham in your movie, and she's likely to get a nomination for something.
Unless she's got several movies out that year. I mean...
Well, she had several movies out last year.
That's true.
I mean, she was in The Giver, she was in The Homesman.
No. I imagine if she got it for The Giver.
There's no way anything gets anything for The Giver. That movie was terrible.
Oh, The Giver was bad. I wonder if it got any Razzie nominations. We should have done a Razzie show. That's what we should have done.
Well, nothing says we can't.
It's true. What are the Razzie Awards?
They're either the day before or the day after the Oscars.
I guess we could.
Day before, I think. So, yeah.
Category would you like to do next?
Yeah, you want to get into the writing?
Sure. Best original screenplay. So, Foxcatcher once again.
Why?
I mean, we both disliked Foxcatcher. Well, dislike might be too strong a word, but it's not Oscar caliber.
Exactly.
I'm happy to see Nightcrawler there.
Yeah, that was a big surprise to see. I was grateful for that.
Nightcrawler should have been in more categories.
Yeah. Actor, picture, maybe director, maybe.
Maybe. But it's there. Boyhood, probably... I don't know how good its screenplay was, considering they were making it up each year at a time, but...
Maybe that's the reason why it's so impressive.
Maybe that's why. But we'd have to read it in order to see.
Yeah. And then Birdman and Grand Budapest Hotel being here are no surprise at all.
Well, they're probably the two it comes down to.
Possibly.
Adapted, I'm kind of surprised to see Inherent Vice there, simply because of this being the Oscars and Inherent Vice being exactly what it is.
Yeah, but the Oscars for writing tend to cherish a little bit more of the out there and weird stuff. Plus, Paul Thomas Anderson is Paul Thomas Anderson, and okay, if you're not going to nominate his film or him as a director, then your screenplay is probably where you're going to go for him if you're going to do anything. So, not entirely surprised. It's definitely a surprise, but it's not the most
biggest.
shocking of the biggest one for me is American Sniper.
Yeah, American Sniper shouldn't be here.
No.
We said a couple of weeks back that we both thought American Sniper was a good film. That opinion has mellowed out a little bit.
Well, actually, the other one that shouldn't be here is Whiplash, because that's technically really should be original, but because it's adapted from Damien Chazelle's short film, they're going to call it adapted. So okay, which in some ways benefits it because it means it doesn't have to go in through the slaughterhouse of the original screenplay. So it has a greater shot at winning.
It has a better chance of winning.
Yeah.
We'll get into what we think later on.
Yeah.
So best animated film. There's one glaring omission here, that being the Lego Movie did not receive a nomination.
This one is one of the ones that stings the most for me.
Because the Lego Movie was fantastic.
It's awesome, as the song says.
If you want to go that route.
Oh, I absolutely want to go that route.
And yet, the Box Trolls got a nomination.
I don't understand why. And I'm somebody who absolutely champions Studio Laika between Coraline and Paranorman, but the Box Trolls just nowhere near as good, especially in comparison to the Lego Movie, and even compared to the other 4 nominees on this list.
Now, the other nominees being Big Hero 6, How to Train Your Dragon 2, Song of the Sea, which still hasn't come out in most places, which you saw and you got to mention at the end of the last podcast.
Yep.
and The Tale of Princess Kaguya, which played once here, one single screening, and I didn't get to it.
Thankfully, I did.
I think it's either out on Blu-ray/DVD now, or it's out like next week.
Comes out today.
Well, the day of recording, which we don't want to tell you when that is. Cough, cough. Because this is live.
Well, of course it is. We are magic.
Every time you play it, it's live. So moving on to best foreign language film, which I've seen none of these. Which one do you think's gonna? Or what do you think of them?
It's an interesting list. The biggest issue for me is just there seems to be some glaring omissions with things like Force Majeure or 2 Days, 1 Night, possibly.
Winter Sleep, which won the Palme d'Or and then got snubbed at the Oscars.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard really good things about Wild Tales and Tangerines and
Timbuktu.
I haven't heard a lot about that, but I've heard it's pretty decent, I guess.
Yeah.
Leviathan won the Golden Globe. So
And there's Ida.
Yeah, and then there's Ida, which is, for me, Ida is the one of these that I've seen. So we shall see what I think of it a little bit further on.
Yeah. The best documentaries, most of them people aren't going to have seen. I think only one really made any headway in terms of the general audience, and that's Citizen 4.
Yeah. Virunga is also available on Netflix, so if you have wanted to see that there, you can. And then I know Finding Vivian Maier is streaming, I think, on at least Amazon and iTunes, probably, if you wanted to download that. But yeah, Citizen 4 is the one that really is sticking out there as being just kind of the big one, especially with Life Itself
being snubbed.
Yeah, you'd think a documentary about film critic Roger Ebert would probably make this list, but there's a lot of speculation about some backstage politics that's kind of going on with him and particularly the filmmaker Steve James. So it's very disappointing, but not much we can do about it, unfortunately.
If you need any greater reason that this is all political, that's it.
Yep.
So I don't know a whole lot about music because I'm not a music critic. I haven't trained in that. But best original score, we've got Budapest, Imitation Game, Interstellar gets a nomination. Mr. Turner gets its only nomination.
No, because it's also nominated for cinematography.
Oh yeah, right, because of Dick Pope. The Theory of Everything. I don't have any problem with any of those.
Yeah, not really. I kind of am more disappointed that the score for Birdman did get nominated, because that all-drum score from Antonio Sanchez is just wonderful to listen to.
And if Under the Skin was going to get anything,
yeah,
this could have been it.
It definitely would have been one of the things. That, like production design maybe, and possibly actress if you're going to be very, very generous. But
it was completely snubbed because 65-year-old Oscar voters didn't get it.
Of course not.
Best original song, I've only actually heard... I've heard 3 of these, I guess.
I've heard 4 of these 5.
Well, you got to see Beyond the Lights. I didn't.
Yeah.
The Lego Movie's single nomination for Everything is awesome.
Yep.
We got Glory from Selma, Grateful from Beyond the Lights, I'm Not Gonna Miss You from Glenn Campbell, I'll Be Me, which I don't even know what that is.
It's a documentary.
No. And Lost Stars from Begin Again, because Begin Again needed something.
Yeah, from, well, that and Beyond the Lights both, if they're the movies about the music industry, so hey, let's actually throw them a bone somewhere.
Thank goodness nothing from Annie got in here. Like, if Annie was going to get anything, it was going to be Best Original Song.
Yep.
Just because there are often so few that you can sneak in if you're of any quality.
Thankfully, the ones from Annie were not, and so therefore they managed to escape.
That could have been bad.
Just a little bit.
I think we'll skip over sound editing and sound mixing. There's not really much to talk about there. It's interesting that The Hobbit got a sound editing and that Whiplash didn't get a sound editing, but...
Or Birdman. Actually, Birdman did.
Birdman did.
Yeah, never mind.
Got a production design. Oh, Mr. Turner got production design too.
Yes, it did.
And
Which,
costume
yeah.
design. Wow, I was way off base. I'll own that one.
Yeah, we both did. Oh well.
Just feels, I don't know. Mr. Turner feels like it should have got a whole bunch more because it's basically there just to get Oscars.
Pretty much. But then, I mean, again, it's a victim of the actor race being so tight because, I mean, Timothy Spall won the Best Actor at Cannes, and yet nowhere is he being mentioned here.
Production design is Budapest Hotel, Imitation Game, Interstellar, Into the Woods, which shouldn't be there. But
Well, no.
it shouldn't be in anything. Into the Woods shouldn't be any no nominations here.
I think you're a little harsher on it than I am, but I mean, if you're going to give it anything, okay, production design is one of the things I would probably give it for.
Yeah, it's fine. Or costumes, which it did get a costumes.
Yeah, and makeup and hair, I think.
It didn't get a makeup and hair, which is weird.
Why are there only 3 nominees for that category?
There's often only 2 or 3. I mean, Cloud Atlas didn't get a nomination for makeup and hairstyling.
Yes, we've long lamented that one. It's like the one thing that Cloud Atlas is like absolutely known for is the fact that it allowed.
I thought it was a lock for that, and then it didn't even get a nomination.
Exactly. I'm like, what's going on here?
Best cinematography, we've got Birdman, which, wow. Budapest Hotel, another wow. Ida, I didn't see. Mr. Turner, which is fine, and Unbroken, which, I don't know, Unbroken's pretty ugly.
Depends on where you are. There's parts of it that are really good, but no, I wouldn't.
I don't think I wouldn't have put it in there.
I might have. It's got some really beautiful moments in it. It just kind of depends, but
I might have even put Interstellar ahead of it.
maybe. I mean, I think the biggest difficulty that Interstellar is facing is that it's more. I know that's obviously not a guarantee, but the fact that it's more special effects driven. Obviously, Gravity was the same way last year, and yet that one's
Life
cinematography.
of Pi.
Life of Pi is another one, but I think there's just a lot of things that were really well shot this year, so that certainly helps.
Makeup and hairstyling, we've got Foxcatcher for the prosthetic nose, I guess. Budapest Hotel for having a lot of makeup. And Guardians of the Galaxy. Yay, Guardians of the Galaxy!
Yeah, it's one of like 2 nominations that thing got.
Yeah.
That and visual effects.
Not sure why they don't go to 5 for best makeup.
I have no idea.
We should ask them.
Well, there's actually rules involved about voting that determines how many get nominated. Because actually, there's been a couple instances recently where animated feature didn't get to 5, and so
That's true.
Although they may have changed the rules recently, where now it's an automatic 5, and it really should. In all honesty,
It should max out as much as it can for each category. We shouldn't be
agree.
sitting here with 8 Best Picture nominations.
Nope.
Let's go to film editing.
One of
Why
the-
is American Sniper there?
I don't know. It should not be.
You've
Especially
got
'cause-
Boyhood, you've got Budapest, you've got Imitation Game, which also maybe doesn't deserve to be there. Then Whiplash, which its ending is made in its editing.
Yeah.
And then you've got American Sniper.
Yeah, where's Birdman?
Birdman, which was edited to look like it was basically all one take.
Yep. I mean,
Doesn't get nominated.
I agree that it is not a lot of editing, but it's the choice of editing that really makes it, because it provides that illusion of a single take. So
Exactly.
yeah, why is American Sniper here? I don't know.
And then finally we've got the blockbuster category.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like it's the category of films that most viewers actually saw.
Got Best Visual Effects. Captain America gets its sole nomination. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes won. Guardians gets its second. Interstellar got a few because technical awards. And then X-Men Days of Future Past. I don't have a problem with any of those.
No, I don't either.
I would have put Sin City in there, but I know that's
You're
not a
very
popular
much-
opinion.
That's because you're very much wrong.
It's all special effects and it all looks wonderful.
Or not.
Or not.
Not at all.
And we've left the biggest category for last. We haven't even talked about Best Picture
Yep, time for Best Director.
or Best Director. Let's do Best Director first. Why is Bennett
Miller?
Miller in there?
We have no idea.
I mean,
All the things Foxcatcher get nominated for, direction is not the one that I would go for.
I mean, if you're going to do that and put him in there, you got to have Foxcatcher in Best Picture as well. But it's not there.
Doesn't deserve to be there, but then
No.
it's Bennett Miller, so there you go.
I was a little I'm kind of surprised that Eastwood didn't wind up as Best Director simply because he's Eastwood.
Yeah, that was an interesting choice to not put in. I'm perfectly okay with that.
Well, yeah, but I definitely could have seen him getting nominated.
Yeah, I mean, even Morton Tilden being here is kind of a little to me, because I would have much rather seen like Dan Gilroy for Nightcrawler or
Ava DuVernay.
Oh yeah,
for Selma.
Yeah, Ava DuVernay's the biggest snub there, really. And David Fincher for Gone Girl as well, not being there kind of depresses me in a lot of ways.
Yeah, so, Gone Girl really didn't get anything.
It
shocking.
Didn't get any nominations that I know of.
Best Actress.
Oh yeah, Rosamund Pike.
But the film itself, yeah.
Yeah, it's like directing film and
yeah.
adapted screenplay should have been there for easily.
And then we've got Best Picture, where we've only filled up 8 of our 10 slots. We filled one of those slots with American Sniper, so really we should have been able to have 3 others.
Nightcrawler,
Gone Girl,
and why not 2 Days, One Night, or I don't know, Wild maybe, or
you could have. There were definitely other films that you could have fit in there.
Oh, absolutely, a lot of heck. The Lego Movie.
Yeah, the Lego Movie deserves it more.
No kidding.
Under the Skin, I would put in there, but that's not really an Oscar movie anyway.
No, it's not. That's an Independent Spirit Award movie.
But the quality drops so far from the 7th place to American Sniper at 8. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's astonishing, but I don't know. I guess Eastwood and the Academy loves Eastwood, I guess.
And the subject matter, I suppose.
I think it's more Eastwood, but yeah, a little bit subject matter.
Well, seeing how the general audience has responded to American Sniper, you have to wonder how many of the people voting for these responded similarly. I would hope that not as much and not as extreme, but you never know.
Maybe. I still think the majority of it is Eastwood because the Academy loves Eastwood.
Plus, you're not gonna. I mean, we don't know how much longer Eastwood's gonna continue directing.
Exactly.
You're not gonna miss the chance to put his potentially last movie in there.
Yeah, although they've managed to do that occasionally in the past, but they've been very forgiving of him, particularly in the last 10 years or 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
So we've kind of given a brief general discussion, so
time to start thinking about who should win.
Time to start thinking about it.
So let's start with technical awards. Let's go down to Best Visual Effects.
Okay. I'm of the opinion that I think Interstellar is the one that's going to take this, just because it's won a lot of the other visual effects awards, and I mean it's really built around its visual effects. Now, that being said, I do think that Dawn of the Planet of the Apes should win.
See, that's the one I think is going to win. Simply because of the motion capture stuff that they've done.
Well, I mean, kind of, but at the same time, Rise of the Planet of the Apes got shunned out for the similar reasons. So it's kind of a big special effects driven sci-fi film versus a motion capture driven sci-fi film. And I don't know, I still think Interstellar is going to take it. But if Dawn of the Planet of the Apes does win it, I will be exceptionally happy because I love Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. I love its motion capture and visual effects. I mean, that scene where Toby Kebbell's character dual-wielding machine guns on a horseback, or the tank sequence. It's a 360-degree pan shot around as a tank is firing and driving towards this building. Beautiful, beautiful scene. So I hope Dawn wins. I think Interstellar takes it, but I hope Dawn wins.
Do you think any of the others have any shot?
No.
I'm of the same opinion.
Captain America has no shot. X-Men has no shot. Guardians might be like number 3, but the gulf between Dawn and Interstellar and the rest of the field is just so gigantic. That
I'm thinking Guardians is number 3 simply because it got another nomination.
Yeah, that's probably true too.
I mean, if you're nominated multiple times, you got a better shot over someone who's nominated once.
On the whole, I would agree.
So, Best Original Song. I think this is another 2-horse race.
Yep, between Everything is Awesome from the Lego Movie and Glory from Selma.
There's no way that Glory loses, is there?
I think at this point, no. The Academy's general disdain for the Lego Movie seems to be indicative of what they're going to do. Plus, Glory just is it's a beautiful song for one, but then also it's perfect for the times that we're living in presently, especially connecting to what Selma was all about to begin with. So, yeah, I think Selma should win. I think it will win. I think that's a foregone conclusion that you can lock up right now.
The only reason I'd consider it wouldn't is just because Selma didn't get anywhere near as many nominations as we thought it would going in.
See, that's why I think it actually will win, is because this will be its one consolation prize.
It'll probably wind up being that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm with Glory all the way. I think it's going to win. But
yeah.
If there was a chance, it would be Everything is Awesome, but it's not really much of a chance.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
So the other main musical category, I guess, would be Best Original Score, which I think it's Imitation Game.
That's not a bad choice. I'm thinking The Theory of Everything, largely because it's won other awards this season in musical, or in Best Original Score. Although for me, it doesn't deserve to win in my opinion, because to me the two best scores that I heard all year are not even nominated, and those would be Under the Skin, because I had a lot of problems with that movie, but the one thing that stands out to me in that film is its score. But then how does the all drum score from Birdman by Antonio Sanchez not get nominated for this? Because
I have no idea.
Yeah, that score is amazing to listen to, but since that's not the case, I'll go with The Theory of Everything to win, just because it's one other stuff.
It won other things. It'll probably win.
Yeah,
this.
I don't really remember much of the music from that film.
I don't remember much of the music from any of them. I mean, Budapest is probably the most memorable, but it's
well,
not
yeah.
going to win.
No, probably not.
I mean, Budapest will win other things, but... So, keeping with the sound theme, we've got Best Sound Editing. I think this is going to be American Sniper's one win.
I would probably agree. I think Interstellar probably should win over American Sniper, but if Sniper's going to win anything, it's probably going to be here.
See, Interstellar had that whole controversy of the sound editing where you couldn't hear where Michael Caine was hearing saying some of the time. I don't know if that hurts it. It probably does.
Probably. And I think that combined with American Sniper, if they're going to reward it somewhere, they're going to reward it technically. So then, okay, sure.
I don't think American Sniper is going to win Best Sound Mixing, though, because Whiplash is here.
I could see American Sniper winning. I'm still going to go with Whiplash winning it, and I think that should win because music.
Whiplash should have been there for Best Sound Editing too.
Yeah, music is one of this film's biggest things because it's about a drummer. So yeah, how do you not have a lot of love for that movie in that regard?
So costume design.
Grand Budapest.
It's got to be Budapest, doesn't
Grand
it?
Budapest, absolutely.
It's going to win makeup. It's going to win production design. It's going to win costume design, right?
I think so. The only thing in makeup and hair that I could compete with it would be Into the Woods, which I still think Budapest
it's not in
takes
makeup and hair.
Oh, it isn't?
No, it was Foxcatcher and Guardians.
Why do I keep thinking it is?
Because if it's going to get anything, it probably should be there.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, so I guess I'm wrong again. I keep doing that. Okay, so yeah. Yeah, there's nothing that's going to touch Budapest.
It's going to be a Budapest triple sweep.
Yeah, there's nothing to touch Budapest in makeup and hair. And production design, it's a Wes Anderson film. The one thing that Wes Anderson film is absolutely known for is its production design. And yeah, so production design, absolutely Grand Budapest, and same for makeup and hair and costume design.
Go Budapest.
Yeah.
Best cinematography. I don't think it's going to be Budapest this time.
No, this is a no-brainer.
It's got to be Birdman.
Emmanuel Lubezki for Birdman.
Yeah.
This will be his second one in a row because he won the same award for Gravity last year. Maybe not deservedly, maybe so. Debatable. But this, that single-take cinematography gimmick is just, it's so out there and fun to watch.
It's so effective.
It's
I'd
wonderful.
like to see more movies try it. I mean, I know it takes a lot of skill, a lot of planning, but if you pull it off, it's great.
It's fantastic. So definitely Birdman for cinematography, without a doubt.
So best film editing. It's got to be Boyhood's award, doesn't it?
I think so, largely because, I mean, the fact that Sandra Adair had to take 12 years of disparate footage and put them together, it's an achievement that's really impressive. I mean, I think the only ones that I would probably put anywhere close to Boyhood would be like Whiplash, and that's because, as we said,
It's made by its editing.
exactly.
At times.
Especially again that climax, it's one of the most beautiful things, and Tom Cross's editing is fantastic. But yeah, I think Sandra Dare for Boyhood deserves it and will take it on Oscar night.
So I know we've only. I mean, I haven't seen any of these yet. I'm going to see Leviathan before the Oscars. You've only seen Ida. Funnily enough, those are probably the two that it comes down to. Who are you thinking wins best foreign language film?
I think Ida probably, just because in terms of the mainstream American press and other groups like that, it's largely taken things. Leviathan took the Golden Globe, but that's the Hollywood Foreign Press, so it's everybody outside of this country, and there's no real overlap there in terms of Oscar voting blocks. So I still probably would go with Ida to win. Although, for me, if I'm honest, the one that really should win isn't even nominated. And that
2
would be
Days, One Night.
Yeah, 2 Days, One Night. I mean, that movie was just so wonderful that it's sad that it's not there, but what can you do?
I would have put Winter Sleep in there too, but
Yeah, I mean, Winter Sleep is another one. I know people really were cheering for Mommy as well.
and even
But-
there were some for Force Majeure.
Yeah, there was a lot of praise for Force Majeure, so
The ones that people saw, the Oscars didn't nominate.
pretty much. So, but that seems to be often the case for a lot of these things.
Same with documentaries, where we've got, as we mentioned, Citizen4 is really the only one people saw, and it's also probably the one that's going to win.
Oh, I guarantee it's going to win. I mean, it's run away with all the documentary prizes pretty much this entire year, so there's no real reason to think that the trend is going to change. And frankly, it deserves it. I mean,
It's really
put it
good.
this way: Citizen4 plays out more like a spy thriller, and a good spy thriller, than actual spy thriller films. It is really good that way, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that it had so much direct access to Edward Snowden and being able to interview him face to face, especially right as when he's getting ready to leak the documents that he leaked, and then announce it to the public.
Without the Lego Movie in Best Animated Feature, we're kind of down to the Dragon movie, aren't we?
I think that's the favorite to win. Yeah, I mean, I like it. Heck, I even like it more than you. But there's no way I would take How to Train Your Dragon 2 as best animated feature this year.
Well, you got to see Song of the Sea. It didn't play here.
I saw all 5 of them now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would take Song of the Sea or Princess Kaguya even over How to Train Your Dragon 2.
I would take Big Hero 6 over How to Train Your Dragon 2. I've only gotten to see 2 of them.
3. Oh, did you not see Box Trolls?
I didn't see Box Trolls.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Yeah.
But-
I would take. I mean, the Lego Movie is not there, so there's that. But yeah, I would take Princess Kaguya or Song of the Sea over How to Train Your Dragon 2 personally. But
How to Train Your Dragon 2 is probably going to win.
yeah, How to Train Your Dragon 2's it's got it locked up in my opinion. Unless there's just some massive surprise that nobody's expecting, which
It
why
could
it's called
happen,
surprise.
but, you know,
well,
unlikely.
if it's going to happen, it's going to be Big Hero 6 just because it's Disney.
probably, yeah.
I mean, it's the same reason why like Brave won Best Animated Feature a couple years ago, even though it's probably the weakest of the 5 nominated. Actually, it was the weakest. Of
It was the
5 nominated.
weakest, yeah.
Yeah, that year should. I mean, you talk about a studio like a film being nominated. Okay, Paranorman that year should have won it really over
Paranorman is great.
Brave. Yeah, so, but instead we're gonna get How to Train Your Dragon 2.
Yay, Dragon movie.
And I like the Dragon movie. I just don't put it as highly as Lego or Kaguya or Song of the Sea.
Best Original Screenplay. I still can't believe Foxcatcher is here, but I'm gonna have to go with Budapest here.
Yep, if you're going to reward Budapest in any way beyond the technical of this is where it's going to be, because especially in screenplay, the Academy likes to reward its weirder writing choices or more distinct writing choices, and distinct is probably one of the singular words you can use to describe any Wes Anderson film. So yeah, I think it deserves to win. I think it will win. So you can probably lock up Grand Budapest for that one, unless the Academy surprises us and decides to go with Richard Linklater's Boyhood, which I suppose
I think
it
that would
could
be
do.
odd, but
It would be odd, but I could see it happening. But yeah, I still got to go with Grand Budapest on that.
well, if they're gonna go with a sweep for Boyhood, then
Yeah, that would probably be where you would likely see it. Well, actually, maybe, I don't know.
we've got some debate here.
Yes.
I still think it's gonna be Budapest, but
I do too.
a close second is probably Boyhood.
I would almost say a close second would be Birdman, actually.
You think?
I think so, because of the fact that it's getting so much attention elsewhere as well, and the acting is made by the writing. I mean, without the great writing, you wouldn't have nearly as good a performance, I think.
It's true.
So I think that's the second, but yeah, we're still going to go with Budapest for...
Well, like I'd
win.
put Birdman ahead of Boyhood. I don't know if the Academy would, just because. Well, then
Yeah,
again, screenplay is the weird award,
Yeah, like we said, it's the weird
So-
one, so who knows?
and we're not even paying any attention to Nightcrawler with its sole nomination. And
Yeah,
honestly,
which is
Nightcrawler could even have a chance.
Yeah.
It doesn't have much of one,
Well,
especially because it, like we said, it's its sole nomination. If you're gonna only get one, you're probably not gonna win. But
No, probably
it could
not.
happen.
Boy can dream.
Moving on to the adapted screenplay, Sniper's there. Sniper ain't winning though.
Yay.
I'm gonna go with Imitation Game here.
I'm going to go with the Imitation Game to win as well. However,
I don't know if it should.
no, it Whiplash.
Yeah, if
Whiplash
Whiplash
is
is
gonna-
gonna get adapted, it should win adapted.
Yeah,
But
nope, we're going to go with the British biopic that's not even that good because
it's good.
no, it's not. It's okay. It does a disservice to its main subject, and it's Oscar bait pure and simple.
Okay.
Whiplash is not.
No, Whiplash most certainly is not.
No, Whiplash is amazing. So yeah, Imitation Game to win, but I think Whiplash should win.
Well, Whiplash is the best movie of those, so.
Yeah.
Well, we're already at the biggest ones. Best Supporting Actor. I think this is a two-person race.
Absolutely. J.K. Simmons, Edward Norton.
I'm going to go with Simmons, simply because of the intensity and, I mean, he's won a lot of other things. I would say he's the favorite going in.
He's absolutely the favorite, and I agree. I think he's going to win. Now,
You could make a definite case for Norton.
I think Norton should win personally, simply because to me he's the best performance in that film, and I also like the fact that it's a comedic role. Simmons gets some comedic moments with his profane rants, but Norton is funny throughout, especially in his scenes where he's with Michael Keaton and with Emma Stone as well. So I wish Edward Norton would win, but yeah, J.K. Simmons, I mean, take this one to the bank. He's won every other supporting actor award this season. He's got it.
Yeah. I think the same can be said that it's a lock for Best Supporting Actress for Patricia Arquette in Boyhood.
Absolutely. I mean, she's taken home all the other supporting actress awards, and deservedly so. It's a stunning performance. I mean,
There's
it's
no one close.
Yeah, the closest is Emma Stone in Birdman, and it's so far of a gap between the two that Patricia Arquette's got this locked up, and rightfully so. I think she should win, and she will win.
And as we said in our Still Alice review, I think we've got Julianne Moore pegged to win Best Actress.
Yep.
I don't think there's anyone who's going to be taking it from her.
No, there's nowhere anywhere close that who has a shot at taking it from her at this point. I mean, and it's a really good performance. Now, I personally would not actually pick her if it was me.
Okay. Who would you pick?
I have to go with Rosamund Pike, solely because of what her character is, and just the madness of that performance is so different to anything. I mean, because a lot of these are these feel good stories where it's somebody who's overcoming adversity or trying to find themselves, and Rosamund Pike in Gone Girl is nothing like those.
She's despicable in that.
Well, she's completely different from any other thing that is nominated in terms of these lead actress performances. Now, admittedly, she's not in the movie as much as some of these other characters are, but it's so fun to watch. It's mesmerizing. I mean, and she has the best part in the film.
Yeah.
Her Cool Girls monologue is still one of my favorite pieces of writing that I've heard all year, which further infuriates me as to why Gone Girl is nominated for adapted screenplay. Because it's absolutely fun, but because the movie is really dark,
there's no way Pike has a chance.
No, she's not going to win. I have no delusions to think that she's going to win. Julianne Moore is absolutely going to win, but if I was going to pick one, I would go with Rosamund Pike, personally.
I wouldn't have a problem with that. I think the performances, it's different enough, as you said, it at least makes you take notice.
It says stuff that we haven't really heard as much before. I mean, we've heard the overcoming physical illness one before. We've heard the, I've screwed up in my life, so I'm going to find myself sort of thing, or the long-suffering wife sort of one. I mean, we've seen these all before. You really haven't seen, in terms of lead actors, as much what Rosamund Pike does, especially given that it's a perfect skewering of women and how they are treated in the world today, where they're expected to be these. I gotta keep going back to the cool girls monologue, where they're expected to be cool girls, and yet she hates that and wants to be the exact opposite of that. So that's the other reason why, for me, Pike just pushes it over the top, because she's unlike anything that I've seen really out of a lead actress performance in a long time.
Yeah, I would. Like I said, I wouldn't have any problem with it. It's not happening. Julianne Moore's going to win. She's great in Still Alice. If someone worse than Julianne Moore was the lead in Still Alice, the movie wouldn't have worked.
I agree.
So, she's going to win.
Yeah, I agree.
The only acting award that's really kind of up in the air is Best Actor, where at least we've got two people vying for the title.
Yeah, and in some ways, nobody saw this coming at the outset, because it looked like Michael Keaton was just going to steamroll through the award season and take every Best Actor. But then Eddie Redmayne, for The Theory of Everything, comes in, and he started winning stuff. So now it's, I don't know.
It's tough to call. I think it's still going to be Keaton. I think that's the story that the Oscar's going to want. And also, Eddie Redmayne's, like 32 or something? He's going to get his chance.
Yeah.
Whereas Michael Keaton,
he's up there, yeah. I mean, that is the argument as to why a lot of people think Keaton. I think Keaton should win, regardless. What makes me think Eddie Redmayne will win is simply because he's won a lot of the major guild awards for lead actor, particularly the Screen Actors Guild, which that one surprised me the most. The main reason why I think Keaton could win is because, as you say, he is older. It's kind of a career comeback of sorts for him. And because the Academy voting block skews, as you say, 65-year-old man, I think they're more likely to reward Keaton. So I'll go ahead and say I think Keaton will win, but if Eddie Redmayne wins, I will be not surprised at all, because of the fact that he's won so many awards this year, especially in acting, from being rewarded by actors.
I think I'll be a little surprised, just because I'm still at the mindset that we had at the outset that it was a Keaton lock. And now we've got Eddie Redmayne building momentum, I guess, as you say.
If only the Norbit effect was real. Because then Jupiter Ascending would have killed Eddie Redmayne's chances, but unfortunately the Norbit effect is not real.
Yeah, but Seventh Son might have done the same for Julianne Moore.
Yeah, that's true. But nope, that's not happening either.
It's not happening. So we're down to the last two categories. Before we say anything, I want to ask you if you think that the Best Director also directed the Best Picture of the year. Who's going to win both of them? Is it going to be for the same movie?
Oh, that's a big challenge. Because in some ways, I could legitimately see the Academy splitting, giving picture to one and director to the other.
I could see it. I don't have it that way, but I could see it.
I don't, simply because of what the GGA gave for their top director, and then the Producers Guild giving for what they named as Best Picture. So
So who do you have as Best Director?
I have Alejandro Gonzalez Iñárritu winning Best Director. I perfectly understand if Richard Linklater wins Best
He's
Director.
who I have. I have Linklater.
I could certainly see that if they're not going to give Boyhood the top prize, then I could certainly see them giving director to Linklater, and deservedly so. I mean, it's a really well-directed film, but it's kind of the contrast between subtle direction and unsubtle direction, because like with Birdman, you really have to have a lot of directing being done because the actors are so central, and then the fact that trying to organize the cinematography or run the single take gimmick and get everybody into place and getting good performances out of these actors.
It's a lot of work, and it takes
It
a
is.
lot of talent.
But then the same could be said for Linklater, because he had to manage two children. I mean,
Yeah.
Eller Coltrane and his daughter Lorelei, and get their performances. But then also direct Ethan Hawke and Patricia Arquette, and then direct them over 12 successive years and still have it come together and be a good result. And he succeeded at that. So I still have to go with Iñárritu, but I could perfectly see Boyhood, Linklater winning for this.
See, I've got Linklater because I've got Boyhood as picture, and I don't
Okay.
I don't think it's going to be a split. And I think that the story of Boyhood is going to be what takes the Oscars and is going to be what people voted for.
I would have agreed with you until the Producers Guild gave Birdman the Best Picture.
Right.
Because they line up almost perfectly. I mean, even to the point where last year they had 12 Years a Slave and Gravity tie for the Producers Guild, and then that's what caused the split between Alfonso Cuarón for director and 12 Years a Slave for picture.
Right.
Whereas this year the DGA gave director to Iñárritu, and the Producers Guild gave it to Birdman. So I think Birdman takes picture as well. Again, if Boyhood wins, I will be perfectly happy with that because it's a fantastic film. I would also, just to throw it out there, if Grand Budapest Hotel won for director or for picture or both, I would be perfectly fine as well.
That'd be a stunning upset.
It would be a big stunning upset. I don't think that's going to happen, but I would still go with Birdman and Iñárritu rather than Boyhood and Linklater. But again, I could see that, or I could also see a split just because it's such an odd year in terms of what's good, and then also just who's peaking and trending when and where at this point in the race. It's so odd.
We don't even know what the split would be. It could be
either
or.
It could. I mean, that's what's really weird about this, is that you could have it one way or the other, and either way it would make sense.
Wow.
So, yeah.
It was a good year for movies.
It's
It really
a really
was.
good year. It really was a good. I mean, we've said this before in previous episodes, but yeah, this was a really good year for film, especially because now we're so close to the end of the 2014 season, and I mean, we've got the Spirit Awards coming up, and we got the Oscars, and
The Razzies.
yay!
Celebrate what's bad in film.
Of course.
So let's, I guess, make our predictions official, on the record, and then we'll tally them up for not next episode because next episode will be before the Oscars, but
For next week's official episode, we'll keep.
we'll let you know who won.
It's going to be me, but we'll see.
We'll see. So, best visual effects, I have Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Interstellar,
Best original song, I have Glory.
Glory,
Best original score, The Imitation Game.
Theory of Everything,
Best sound editing, American Sniper.
Sniper,
Best sound mixing, Whiplash.
Whiplash,
Best costume design, Grand Budapest Hotel.
Budapest Hotel,
Makeup and hairstyling, Budapest Hotel.
same,
Production design, Budapest Hotel.
Grand Budapest,
Cinematography, Birdman.
Birdman,
Film editing, Boyhood.
Boyhood,
Foreign language, Ida.
Ida,
Documentary, Citizen 4.
Citizen 4,
Animated, The Dragon Movie.
How to Train Your Dragon 2,
Original screenplay, Grand Budapest Hotel.
Grand Budapest Hotel,
Adapted screenplay, The Imitation Game.
Imitation Game,
Supporting actor, J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons,
Supporting actress, Patricia Arquette.
Patricia Arquette,
Best actor, Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton,
Actress, Julianne Moore.
Julianne Moore,
Best director, Richard Linklater.
Alejandro Gonzalez Iñárritu,
Best picture, Boyhood.
Birdman.
We skipped over all three short categories because I've seen one of the 10 or of the 15 films, and that's Feast.
That's only because it played in front of Big Hero 6.
Exactly. I've seen none of the others. It could be a toss-up for all of them.
Yeah, we have no idea.
So
we're not going to bother with that, but
if
good
if
job
you're in a
to
pool,
all those. Yeah.
if you're in a pool, they're counting for less points anyway, so
Yeah.
take a guess. Put Feast down for animated short.
Put Feast down for animated, put The Phone Call down for live action short, and put Crisis Hotline Veterans Press 1 for documentary short.
There you go. Any other thoughts on the Oscars this year?
I'm looking forward to Neil Patrick Harris hosting.
That'll be fun.
I think so. I mean, Ellen did fine previously. Seth MacFarlane did okay, although his style of comedy doesn't really suit the Oscars, frankly.
It's surprising that he ever got tapped to do that, huh?
Well, it makes sense because they were trying to bring back the
Younger
younger
audience.
crowd. If it will, yeah, because I mean, let's face it. When they last tried that, it was James Franco and Anne Hathaway. We all know how that
That
turned
worked
out.
so well. That was great.
That was
The
wonderful.
funniest Oscars ever.
And then they reversed course by bringing back Billy Crystal, and that was good. But again, it's kind of old hat, so they went with Seth MacFarlane. And wow, did the outrage on that one really come out?
We should have Ricky Gervais do it. That wouldn't be controversial at all.
Oh, not at all. Well, if we're going to go let's bring in Amy Poehler and Tina Fey. They did so well.
I don't
with
think
the
that'd be
Golden Globes.
controversial at all. Everyone loves them.
Yeah, exactly. So let's bring them in. But yeah, I love Neil Patrick Harris. I mean, I've seen some of his stuff from hosting the Tony Awards, and he's always been really fun. Especially if we're going to do an opening song number. I mean, who better to have than Neil Patrick Harris? So
If nothing else, he'll bring the energy.
yeah, oh, he's going to bring the energy.
That's going to be great.
The real question to me is, does he do his character from Hedwig and the Angry Inch or not? It's like Neil Patrick Harris in drag singing. Oh, I want to see that so
I don't
much.
think it's going to happen.
No, it probably won't, but I would love it if it did.
This is the Oscars. It's not the Golden Globes.
Sadly, yes. Other than that, so the other big question, over, under on 3 hours.
Over.
Over.
The speeches are good. The speeches in total are going to go over. They're not going to be able to cut people off fast enough.
Yeah, they never do, but
They always try.
they try. It
Never
never
happens.
works. But, yeah. So, either way, I mean, Sunday, February 22nd, it's the Oscars, it's the Super Bowl of film. Yes, it's political. Yes, it doesn't really mean what is truly, absolutely, necessarily the best film.
But it's a whole heck of a lot of fun.
Yeah. It's 3 hours plus to sit through in some cases, especially with some of the categories that not as many people care about, although they should, because these people still put in really hard work to hone their craft and try to apply it for the film. But either way, tune in, see what happens, see if our predictions hold, and celebrate the excellent year that was 2014 in cinema.
Suppose that brings us to the conclusion of this Oscar special of Mad and Mad at the Movies. You can follow Gerald on the Twitter at FilmFlashNC. I'm on the Twitter at MartyrTweet. Comments, criticism, praise, corrections, suggestions, all welcome. Just be nice. Otherwise, I'll block you. Or mute you. One of the two. Tune in Sunday for a new episode of Mad and Mad at the Movies prior to the Oscars. We're going to talk about Hot Tub Time Machine 2, McFarland USA, and The Duff. Till next time, this is Mad and Mad at the Movies signing off.
Take care, listeners.